Oh, that's
Just a
fun.
little bit of trivia that I have to point out. Their first album, Voices of Animals and Men, refers to the track Animals and Men from Adam and the Ants' debut album, Dirt West White
Oh,
Snows. So there you go.
there you go. Yeah, I'll tuck that away for never, but that's still interesting.
Everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Audiophiles. My name's John, his name, Andy. There's blood on the streets, it's up to my ankles. There's blood on the streets, it's up to my knee. Blood on the streets in the town of Chicago. Blood on the rise, it's following me. More on that later. But first, Andy, how the devil are you today?
No complaints. I'm doing well, man. I hope you can say the same.
Excellent. Um, so what have you got for us today?
Oh, band called Young Knives. Any familiarity there?
Wee bit. I got their first three albums.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna
I
give you
would say the first one is the one I really like, although there's a track called Turntail on the second album, which is a perennial favorite of mine. But that's all I've got. I know they carried on, but
yeah, they have. They have carried on to the point where there's a brand new album and a brand new track. And this is the single. There, I think this is the first single off of it. It is a song called Dissolution. So I would love you to go check it out. Love to hear what you have to say about it. So please go off, give it a listen, come back, and let me know your thoughts.
will do.
Oh dear! Did you see the latest lineup? They all look so confused! But I suppose it isn't entirely their fault, is it? I'll explain. I must object!
Let me just write that down quickly while I remember it. Yeah, so interesting start. So you've got this guitar going, like some broken car alarm. And then this sort of interesting beat. And the bass comes in, it's great because I don't know what it's doing. It's like sounds like it's exercising at a gym, and it's all sort of it's really fun. And then it comes with his vocals, which have more than a touch of the Mike Skinners about them. Where he says, "Oh dear, did you see the latest lineup?" And then something about it's not their fault. It isn't entirely their fault. The way he sings that, let me explain, is really like Mike Skinner. It's funny. And I don't know what he means by the latest lineup. That could be a band, it could be his own band. It could be a team, like a football team. It could even be people in a reality TV show like fucking Love Island or some shite. So I don't know what he's talking about, but it's funny. It's not long, so let's go back and listen to it again. Right out the gate as well. Bang. Yeah, interesting. Musically, it's sounding more like their early stuff, but vocally, it's a little bit different.
Oh dear! Did you see the latest lineup? They all look so confused! But I suppose it isn't entirely their fault, is it? I'll explain. I must object to the current received wisdom and the modern social system championing the individual's bodies and minds, existence and time. Both are just projections of an ego in rejection, and in this dream, as real as it seems, the scarcity fallacy makes up the clear majority of thoughts in our heads. Are we better off dead? Ah, you'll see it so much clearer when you banish past and future and your dissolution.
Dissolution. So we got this sort of again, it's like Streets, this sort of white geezer half rap The words are tumbling through thick and fast. I'm not really picking up much of them. But beneath that was this piano. And it was like a kid trying to get attention. It's a bit of a touch of the Aladdin Sayings, actually. Mike Garson. But yeah, really nice. What's it called? Is it glissando? Was the finger slide? Yeah. And then sort of like bumps, sort of bass bumps, and then there's sort of like trills that were slightly dissonant as well, or atonal, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, really interesting actually. Kind of a bit chaotic. I like it. Dissolution.
Majority of thoughts in our heads. Are we better off dead? Ah, you'll see it so much clearer when you vanish past the future and your dissolution. Dissolution is all you need. Why are we still putting up with it? Isn't it obvious they're the worst roommates ever? If you still aren't sure, let me see if I can put some more meat on the bones. We are led to believe there is always something more that we need, and how to satiate it, we must get our hands on it, then we would find that we have peace of mind. Miracle of miracles, but how console the oracles who say if you train your mind to need more time, you'll forever be left wanting because you're always missing now that where insanity lies. Want to give that a try? This perception of duality obscures the true eternity of dissolution. Dissolution is all you need. Dissolution is all you
Back in a sec, actually. So that's really interesting. It got to the second verse, as second chorus. I could hear some sort of squawking in this channel. It sounded like a synth line. It was really interesting as well. Then we have this sort of bridgy part, ominous sort of bass, and they're building it up. He's kind of setting the scene, and then it launches off into this. I don't know. It sounds to me like a manifesto. He's saying stuff. There's some really funny lines. Can't read what I've written down now. Yeah, the other backing vocals singing it's giving it this lifting. You can almost feel like it's coming out of chaos. You know, there's flags waving amongst the smoke and wreckage, and then this bit they just where I stopped it, they said "no pain, no pleasure." It sounds a bit like sort of Wire. It's really nice. It's just a bit off kilter, a bit slanted. Let's just bring it back a wee bit. Did he just say there? sounded to me like you just said there's a fear of dumbing down. That can't be right. It was something else. I'll be honest with you. It started off. I wasn't sure about this, but it grew on me. I really like the musical side of this in terms of the sort of chaos, particularly that piano and the bass as well. Did a great job. Um, at one point, it was like they're both bouncing around in a padded room like a kids at a soft play center. It's really funny. Um, the lyrics though were just a bit too condensed milk, a bit too thick to take it all in. There were some really nice bits and pieces, but I need more than one listen to really take in. We are the Mirror Dodgers. I like that. There's lots of really nice bits, but I haven't got a clue about dissolution. I know what dissolution means, but in this context, I mean, I don't think he's talking about dissolution of the monasteries. I doubt it somehow. So I can take a stab. We're nowhere near, I think. We need to go back and talk to the man who knows. And that is Andy.
All right, so you're back. You have some experience listening to Young Knives. It's probably been a little bit. What was it like reintroducing yourself to the band and their latest track, Dissolution?
When you say recent, this year?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, really interesting. So yeah, I would say I've got the first three albums. I'm really mostly familiar with the first album. From my memory, this musically harkens back more to the early stuff. That
Okay.
sort of spirits, but the delivery is very different. So I'll get into it. So it
All right.
starts with this post-punk nervous energy. We've spoken before about this almost jerky rhythmic nature to sort of songs like that, which is great. I love it. But it also makes it incredibly difficult to dance to, as we've spoken about before as well. But yeah, it's this really sort of spiky awkwardness, which considering the time when I was getting into this music, fitted my life perfectly. And the sort of 13-year-old onwards, spiky and awkward is exactly what it was. So yeah, the guitar rings out like a car alarm that everybody walks past ignoring. It's just going away. And people could be robbing the fucking, the Ford Cortina in the corner of the car park. No one pays any attention. It's just there and going away. And the bass sounds like it's struggling to work out at a gym. It's all groans and sighs and grumbles. It's very charismatic. I love it. And then in comes the singer. Now there's more than a hint of the Mike Skinner about the vocals as he kind of stumbles in. And there are lots of words in this. So I'm catching bits and pieces. By the time I've written down the line, another three are gone, so they're out the window, But he says something about, "Oh dear, did you see the latest lineup? There's something else." And then, "Well, I suppose it isn't entirely their fault. I'll explain." And the way he delivers, "Well, I suppose it isn't entirely their fault," is very Mike Skinner, The Streets.
Mhm.
That sort of that delivery. And now, interesting, that first line, I've no idea what's going on here, but lineup could refer to a band, maybe his own band. It could refer to a team, like a football team, or a reality TV show. Well, have you seen the lineup of the celebs? That's in the jungle this time, whatever. I have no idea, but it just sounds. They're all talking about they're confused or something. I can't remember, but so it could well refer to a certain football team easily. I doubt it, but yeah. He then launches into this sort of white geezer half rap again, very much a la Leroux. And we get this sort of group vocal crenulations in the verse that just appear at certain words, which is really nice. And again, it's always enjoyable. Meanwhile, in the corner, there is a pianist. And I almost picture him like, I've forgotten what's the name of the guy in Peanuts. Who's at the piano, the little kid?
Oh
Is
God.
it Schroberger or something like that?
Yeah. Schroeder or something like that. Yeah.
I picture it like him
Yeah.
in the corner, and he's very keen, to show that he listened to our episode covering Aladdin Sane and the wonderful stylings of Mike Garson, because we are getting some batshit piano, and it only gets more batshit as it goes along. And these incongruous glissandos, I think they're called, the old fingers
Yeah.
across. These
Yeah.
off-kilter sort of like bass bump heavy chords, and then some really wonderful sort of dissonant or atonal trills at the top end. It's absolutely wonderful and completely like somebody who's playing two records at the same time kind of vibe, which is great. We go into a brief chorus of Dissolution, Dissolution. It's all you need, or something like that. And as this chorus is happening, we get notes cascading from the piano, like the mass felling of trees that just falling out there around everywhere, and it kind of adds to the feeling of chaos, this chaotic feel, and also of structure being undermined. You know, the sort of foundations, as it were, are falling away, which is a kind of definition of dissolution. We go back into the verse, and there's something about why are we still putting up with it, and then something about they're the worst roommates ever. I don't know why, but this feels like a political statement, and for a brief second, the B word flashed into my mind, but I'm sure it's nothing to do with that. Brexit. But yeah, I'm not sure where it's coming from. It continues on the verse, and his speech becomes more like a sort of speaker's corner ramble at this point. The words tumble out at a rate, but they're not sticking with me. This is coming through. I'm hugely enjoying, though, both the piano and the bass. They're both bouncing off the walls in a padded room like kids at a soft play group area. It's just wonderful. And I think there's an addition, unless it was always there, of this like synth line that starts to squawk like a baby bird in a nest waiting to be fed. And then I catch the line something like that, this way or that way, insanity lies. Do you want to give it a try? And I'm thinking, yeah, you're spot on there, mate. It's just this lovely sense of chaos, the whole thing, and I'm enjoying. So we get another chorus, which is doubled. I think the second time the backing vocals sing it rather than the main singer, I think. And then we go into a bridgy part, and you know my views on bridgy parts. There's some vocalizing, and then we get this brooding bass line, which is kind of almost ominous, and it lets the vocalist. At this point, he's almost like setting the scene. Again, the words aren't sticking, but it's like this, it's like that. This happens, that happens, and then we. He says. So I did write something down. Denying the purpose. Talking about define the pull. We're irritated and guilty parties. So again, it's like he's whatever that means. He's painting a picture of what the scenario is, and then in come the backing vocals again, and they're very much kind of like lifting the stage. So he's almost now launching it feels almost like a manifesto, and they're singing bits, but he's saying something about, and again, I only caught bits, but something about the local idiots, secondhand cars. Lovely phrase, the mirror dodgers, which I loved, and then the keyboard warriors, of course. And at this point, I can see makeshift flags waving amongst the smoke of like barricaded streets and thoroughfares, and the cobbles are still wet from petrol and police horse piss. You know, it just feels like there's chaos and he's rising up, from it. And then we get this final refrain of no pain, no pleasure. And it has this wonderful sort of slanted quality to it. And it sounds a bit like early Wire, the way they deliver it. It's really nice. Really nice. Very post-punk as well. The final mumble phrase, excuse me, I drew it back and listened to it again. And it really is really so unclear compared to the rest of it. And I swear I got a complete misreading of this. This is not what he said at all, but it sounded to my ears like, there is a fear of dumbing down, which can't be right. But in my mind, it makes sense. It's really fun. I don't know what the hell he did say. So at first, I have to say, I wasn't sure about this. Clearly, he's ranting about something meaningful to him, but for all I know, it could be the state of public transport in rural Leicestershire. Dissolution, it brings to mind a few things. Parliament, obviously. Business, marriage. I doubt he's talking about disillusionment of the monasteries, Henry VIII. his land and asset seizing, grabbing move to underpin the English Reformation, we call it, or get me another wife is another way of saying it. In medical terms, dissolution means dissolving, which I know from my sort of rap days. It feels like that he definitely wants to break down something. He's talking about the state of something and how we can change it or whatever. But I'm not very clear at all, and I catch like 10% of the lyrics isn't really going to help on one listen. But in the end, I think the chaotic music won me over. In particular, that batshit piano and that crazy bass were both wonderful. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Awesome, man. Glad you liked it. It's even, I mean, kind of there's something even more endearing about this experience because like it sounded like you liked their first stuff and then you kind of like grew apart from them because they went a route that you weren't keen on, but now they're perhaps recapturing your attention with some interesting stuff on their latest output. So yeah, maybe that'll be impetus to go off and check some more of it out. But yeah, let's get into my notes here. So, Young Knives, English indie rock band from Ashby de la Zouch. That's my best effort. Leicestershire, currently based in Wantage, Oxfordshire. The group consists of brothers Henry Dartnall and Thomas Bonsu Dartnall, the latter known professionally as the House of Lords. It's an interesting moniker. Oliver Askew was the band's drummer from 1998 until 2015. The band were originally named Simple Pastoral Existence, which featured guitarist Alex Gasson. But the name only lasted until they split for a few years from 97 to 99, at which time they renamed themselves Pony Club. The name Pony Club was changed when they got their first record deal, as there was already an artist in existence named Pony Club. This was when the name The Young Knives was coined. They later dropped the definite article prefix prior to the release of their record or of their second full-length album, Superabundance. They broke into the music industry in 2002 with the critical success of their debut mini album, The Young Knives Are Dead, but began to garner national coverage upon the release of their single, The Decision, in late 2005. They played their biggest live gig in June 2006 and completed a UK tour in support of their first proper album, Voices of Animals and Men, which reached number 21 in the UK albums charts. In July 2007, they were nominated for the nationwide Mercury Prize. Their second album, Superabundance, entered the charts in March 2008 at number 28, with the third album, Ornaments, from the Silver Arcade, ready for April 2011. The band released their fourth album, the more experimental Sick Octave, via their official website on April 21st, 2013. So I'm thinking if maybe around Sick Octave was when they started going in a different direction than perhaps you and others liked, because they definitely described it as more experimental, and it sounds like perhaps experimenting in a way that some weren't keen to. A Kickstarter campaign was also launched by the band on this date, with a £10,000 crowdsourcing target being set. The album is released for November 4th, 2013. After a hiatus of around 4 years, Young Knives returned as a duo consisting of the Dartnall brothers, and they released a new single, Red Cherries, in 2019, and released their fifth album, Barbarians, in September in 2020. On the 7th of October 2024, the band released the single we listened to today, Dissolution, and announced the album, Landfill, would be released on January 24th, 2025, with an accompanying UK tour. It's a record about letting things go before they are taken away from you, including the carefully curated images of ourselves, embracing everything the world throws at you and not taking it to heart, explained vocalist Henry Dartnall. AllMusic magazine writer Desh Kapoor reviewed the album and had this to say. Musically, Landfill traverses a diverse range of styles. The album features introspective songwriting, post-punk rhythms, and elements of spoken word. Synths further enrich the soundscape, contributing to a complex and engaging listening experience. In summary, Landfill represents a bold and introspective chapter in Young Knives' discography, offering listeners a nuanced exploration of identity and legacy through a rich tapestry of musical styles. Damian Sullivan of Maximum Volume Music reviewed the album and wrote this of it. Landfill is quite honestly a bit of a challenging listen. The kind of submission that asks more questions than it answers, and contemplating the nature of existence is a subject that most of us steer well clear of. The definition of landfill is a dump, and here it's a dump or a scrap heap of thought-provoking ideas and views that may well stimulate some self-examination. A provocative, seductive, but stimulating return from a band that are always happy to take risks and push the envelope. And of this specific track, Sullivan noted, Dissolution has lyrics aimed at killing off your ego, partly inspired by Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The words are about the dissolution of the ego or ego death, a thing that appears in Eastern religion and was written about in Joseph Campbell's A Hero's Journey. So, interesting stuff there. Let's jump into these lyrics. Oh dear, did you see the latest lineup? They all look so confused. But I suppose it's not entirely their fault, is it? I'll explain. I must object to the current received wisdom and the modern social system championing the individual's bodies and minds' existence in time. Both are just projections of an ego in rejection. And in the dream, as well as it seems, the scarcity fallacy makes up the clear majority. Of thoughts in our heads, are we better off dead? But you'll see it so much clearer when you banish past and future. At your dissolution, hey? Dissolution, ho? Dissolution, it's all you need. Why are we putting up with it? Isn't it obvious they're the worst roommates ever? If you still aren't sure, let me see if I can put some more meat on the bones. We are led to believe that there is always something more that we need, and how to satiate it. We must get our hands on it. Then we would find that we had peace of mind, miracle of miracles, but now consult the oracles, who say if you train your mind to need more time, you'll forever be left wanting, because you're always missing now, the way insanity lies. You want to give that a try? Nope. This perception of duality obscures the true eternity of dissolution, 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 it's all you need. Dissolution, 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 it's all you need. Start on an empty train, on an abandoned track, no destination, no way back, denying the purpose and denying the pull. We are the irritated and the guilty parties. More and more, the map's deleted. A thought emerges, and the canceled stars. Held together, we're the local idiots. By the churning and the second-hand cars. Of the thinker, the reduced aisle armies. Who did thought it, and the lay-by loves. Planted it. We are the mirror dodgers. And kept it watered. And the neurodivergent, raw behinds, the dietary requirements, and bloodshot eyeballs, the ill at ease, soaked in sweat, the keyboard warriors, a modern marvel, the old, the sick, and the diseased. No pain, no pleasure, no pain, no pleasure, no pain, no pleasure. This is a field, I'll meet you there. So yeah, I guess, yeah, I understand. I understand the point about the dissolving of ego and everything, but it really seems like a piss take on society, is what I get out of it. So I don't know what to say.
Interest, yeah.
There's some
It's
interesting
interesting.
lyrics in there for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it does seem like a bit of a rant. It's a bit opaque to be clearly disseminated that it's this dissolution of ego. It that doesn't seem to relate back into it on first listen and first hearing of the lyrics.
Yeah.
This destruction of the ego thing, I know that it was something that John Lennon was very interested in the late 60s, and he believed he could achieve it through copious amounts of LSD. Um, and it didn't really work out very well for him. He ended up with Yoko Ono, didn't he? So, you know, and I think for a time when they moved to New York, he was sat around wearing a nappy. So, yeah, probably not the greatest of moves. Um, but so, yeah, that last line, this is a field, I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
Um, it sounded nothing like that when I listened to it. And it kind of reminds me of Shawshank at the end. You know,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
goes
yeah,
to
yeah.
field and I'll be you there.
That's
Yeah,
a good, I
anyway.
didn't even think about that, but yeah, you're right. Oh, that's
Just a
fun.
little bit of trivia that I have to point out. Their first album, Voices of Animals and Men, refers to the track Animals and Men from Adam and the Ants' debut album, Dirt West
Oh,
West. So there you go.
there you go. Yeah, I'll tuck that away for never, but that's still interesting. Awesome stuff, man. Well, I'm glad you liked this sort of reintroduction to
Yeah.
Young Knives now, and that you enjoyed it for the most part. Yeah, it's a really cool, interesting track, and I gotta say, like I was surprised that I liked it as much as I did because it is so spoken word driven, and usually that's very like defensive for me. Like
Yes.
I don't know if I'm, hanging around the wrong crowd too much these days or what, but I heard this a few
Mm.
months ago and was like, oh man, this is fucking really cool. Another one of those, hey, these randomized playlists of just like genres that Spotify puts into my algorithm because they know I'll dig it. And they were right. I mean, I fell for this one and added it to our list of songs to check out. So thanks for giving this a go, John. Really appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Guys out there in the listening audience, let us know what you think of Young Knives and this newer track by them, Dissolution, off their 2025 album. If there's other stuff by them we should check out, or other bands akin to them that we should check out, whatever, drop them down in the comments field below. We love hearing from you guys. We love interacting with you guys. And also another thing that we love from you guys is to like, share, and or subscribe. If you have not done any or all of those things, please do. We really do appreciate it. And hopefully John and I will catch all y'all in growing numbers on the next installment of the Audiophiles. We'll see you later, guys.